here we are with an update again on a team that I believe Atlanta Falcons. Did you actually do you more importantly still feel that they're a playoff contender?
Absolutely, they're going to win their division and they'll be in the playoffs again. Trying to come up with their second ever playoff win under the leadership of their current leaders.
That's a good point. So many years of losing, you know, that they have that to look forward to. For those of you that are keeping account, in our opinion, there's 16 significant players, okay? And you chime in anytime you want. Going in alphabetical order, Jonathan Babineau has proven himself and is a significant player that they need as a defensive tackle. Croy Bierman, also a defensive end that I would say in the last couple of years has really, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
I'd love to play on a team with a guy named Bierman. You know, Beerman. He must be just a great guy to party with. Hey, he's got to instill a lot of locker room spirit for the team. Maybe he's one of the keys to their success.
It makes you feel like you're back in college. Ah, beer man, we got a party tonight.
I want to be.
You got enough money to help with the keg?
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Maybe he was the social chair in the college, in the fraternity. He should have been, with a name like Bierman.
Bierman, not Beardman.
Please.
But
Bierman, Croy Bierman.
Yes.
His wife is one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So anybody who wants to see what he's like as a person, he's on that show. And now I think they even have maybe their own show.
You had mentioned that to me. Gina Angelina, our producer. If anybody didn't hear that, I'm just going to go ahead and repeat it, just because maybe you might be able to hear it better if you didn't hear Gina. But Real Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, his wife, the beer man's wife, Mrs. Bierman.
Mrs. Bierman
is on that show, and you know, a woman that'll drink beer, that turns me on automatically.
Let's say hello to Mrs. Bierman. Hi, Mrs. Bierman. Let's get back to the Falcons, or we'll never finish it.
All right.
We were on Mr. Bierman and his lovely wife, Mrs. Bierman.
16 significant players for the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Bryant has been very good as a kicker. Was on my fantasy. Did extremely well for me. He's consistent as a punt kicker. You know, the guy is like, I noticed the other day, he's almost 40 years old, but you know, he's a kicker, so he's still getting it done. Tony Gonzalez came back to the team, as we talked about, tight end. And regarded by them. There you go. Yeah. Steven Jackson, another significant player that we feel is on the Atlanta Falcons this year. How can you go wrong? The Rams let him go for whatever reason, anyway, you got him over there. The other players I want to talk about, chime in anytime you want. Julio Jones, me and Julio down in the we're going to win schoolyard. And then you've got William Moore as a safety. These are a couple of defensive players because they really need to boost that up. I think everybody would agree with how things ended last season. Corey Peters, defensive tackle. Jaquez Rogers, we talked about him, running back. So now we've got Jaquez Rogers, who really showed that he's coming up, and he's not just Aaron Rodgers' inconvenient truth. He can stand on his own two legs, and you know, he's going to be a good runner for them. But with Steven Jackson in the backfield too. Mickey, how could they go wrong as far as the running game, the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, if Steven Jackson has, you know, a couple more really good years left in him, he's going to have a lot of fun with the Falcons, and vice versa. They clearly got a very good passing game, and Steven Jackson, for years, he was the Rams' offense, right? Well, yeah, yes. We talked about this. The Rams basically.
Yes, we did. It was a big part of it.
They gave up probably the present tense for the future in the Steven Jackson trade. Well, so the Falcons already know that they're very close. They were in the NFC Championship game last year, and they figured give us a little more power at running back, and we can make it over the hump. So that's going to be good.
Mickey, what do you think about this? Tell me what you think about this. Osi Umenyiora. There's a lot of hype that's built up about this. The Giants allowed him to be traded to the Falcons. So he's now an Atlanta Falcon. Osi Umenyiora from a team that you're always been high up on. Tell me about this.
Plenty of experience, 2 Super Bowl rings. He could be a leader in the locker room, leader on the field, help anchor the defensive line, do a lot of sacks, and just generally make things harder on the opposing offenses. Yeah, that'll be a big addition. He'll start, of course.
Asante Samuel, you remember him? I know you hate to talk about the Eagles, but hey, take a look at this. Asante Samuel, for a long time was with the Philadelphia Eagles, then the New England Patriots, I believe. So that means, if I'm not mistaken, and we can check on this, would you agree with me that's probably the case? He just got traded to the Atlanta Falcons this year. New England let him go, probably felt that he was a little over the hill, a little too slow, maybe didn't look good in training camp, whatever the case may be. But Asante Samuel, the longtime cornerback for the Eagles, he's now a Falcon, so I think that's a little more assurance and insurance for the Falcons, saying that they're even more prepared for this year. And here we go, 1992 Cunningham, baby, the Eagles.
Randall Cunningham.
Every green they got is good. Every green they got is good. Randall Cunningham. So Asante Samuel, good enough to play for the Patriots. I mean, and years ago, Belichick and the boys traded for him and took him from the Eagles. I mean, what do you think about that? Did the Falcons really need a little boost in the secondary?
It just depends on how much he's got left. I mean, he's clearly proven himself a Pro Bowl player. Can he still play at the level that he was playing at before? Or at least a higher level than the guy that he replaced on the Falcons? That's the only question.
When I think about him and I think about his career so far, I actually come to the same conclusion. He's clearly proven himself, and he was good when he was with the Eagles. His numbers were great. He was a big part of that defense. He was regarded by fans, by other coaches in the NFL, by other players as being very, very important to covering wide receivers. And I think, I've always felt about him, one of the biggest traits, the little thing that stands out, which every player needs, I think, to be regarded as a huge asset, rather than just be a cornerback like maybe a prime time, where you just run down the field and Dion was really good at covering you or intercepting. Asante Samuel's always been the kind that on a particular play, if he knows he can run across the field and make a tackle like a Troy Polamalu, then he will do that. And to me, that deserves a lot of credit. So, please, some final comments on the Atlanta Falcons this year.
Once again, quarterback play is going to be huge, as it is for every NFL team. Matt Ryan, another year of experience. The Falcons had such a great year last year. They were just, I don't know, they were just untouchable. They went off to the best start in the whole league, and home field advantage in the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, they played the Niners. But anyhow, Ryan's got an amazing winning percentage in his home games with the Atlanta Falcons. I can't tell you what it is off the bat, but he's almost never lost. I mean, that home loss to the Niners in the playoffs was one of his few losses at home.
Dirty Birds are good at home.
Excellent. Ryan's great at home, and it'll be another year of the Matt Ryan show. He's going to be happy to have some more weapons on offense to work with, and we'll see where it goes. But they're going to win their division. They'll go deep in the playoffs. Mark my words.
And the last thing I'll say is that he just signed a new contract, okay? We're talking a lot of money. That was about less than a month ago, Matt Ryan.
Ryan did?
He's now, I believe, the third highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Good move by the Falcons. Did he deserve it?
He totally deserved it. The only problem is, as we've seen year after year, the year that players have right after they've signed a big contract in every sport is often a lemon, and for a variety of reasons, but mainly I think psychologically they realize that they've achieved their goal, and now they're supposed to go out and live up to the expectations, and it's not that easy.
You've made that comment before, and it's actually something that's resonated with me since we did the last show, so that tells me that it obviously was worth me thinking about. It made a lot of sense, and it does make a lot of sense to me when I think about it. So, show me the money! And they did. Matt Ryan, go out and prove it. You can, baby.
Done.